Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching BAM, the political vigilante rising up, educating the citizens of Gotham. We're all making Gotham great again. You are the smartest and best fans in the world. That's why this is the People's Channel. Speaking of the People's Channel, folks, come out and see a live show. Lee Camp and I are doing 3 government secrets live in Europe. We just added Stockholm, Sweden, October 3rd, Berlin, October 5th, and London, October 12th. The VIP seats for London are already sold out, so you're going to want to get your tickets quick. And then I come back to the States and do stand-up leading up. I'm taping my comedy special in Chicago. So you want to come New York City, October 18th, Madison, Wisconsin, October 20th, Detroit, Michigan, October 21st, Cincinnati, Ohio, October 22nd, and Sweet Home, Chicago, October 26th. All those tickets are at grahamelwood.com. Why it's important to come out to a live show? You feel like you're not alone because you watch shows like this, and I'm sure you watch other like lefty YouTubers, and you feel like maybe we're alone. We're all crazy. We're politically homeless. We don't fit in either one of these corrupt parties. And we want the world to be a better place. We're trying. And it's hard because one of the issues, and I talk about on the show, is climate collapse. And that's why it's good to go out and laugh and have a good time, because climate collapse is real and it's happening. And I talk about it on the show. I do at least one. I try to do close to one video a week because something needs to be done, because every day just about there's new compelling and dangerous evidence. Most recently, we've got what's going on in Pakistan, an insane flood.
And on the other side of the world, catastrophic flooding in Pakistan has killed more than 1,000 people. You heard that number correctly, 1,000. Entire villages have been washed away by the floodwaters, and officials say nearly 1 million homes have been damaged or destroyed. Millions of people have been displaced there. Holly Williams shows us the huge scale of the devastation.
These floods are biblical, according to Pakistan's government. More than 30 million people have been inundated in a country already weighed down by poverty.
30 million people. So they're about 1 billion in their country, but 30 million people, that's just about 10% of America's population.
And Pakistan's government says one thing is certain. This is a catastrophe caused by climate change.
This is a humanitarian disaster of epic proportions. Thousands are without shelter, many are without food, and people are stranded.
More than 2,000 miles of roads have been washed away, according to the Red Cross. The only way out in some areas is by air. And that's also how food is getting in. We left our homes in a hurry, says this woman. Some days we're able to eat. Other days, we have nothing. Some have made it to safety literally on their own steam, while desperation has also sparked ingenuity. A daring rescue on a bed frame rigged up on a zip line. Satellite images show a country laid to waste, before the deluge and after. If climate change is the culprit, this year's floods may be just a preview of Pakistan's future. For CBS Mornings, Holly Williams, London.
Not maybe a preview. This is it. This is what it looks like. This is what climate change looks like. And this will only get worse. It'll only get worse. Now, we haven't seen this severe flooding, but we've already had bad floods here in Kentucky, in the Dakotas, in Texas. And one of the things that scientists have talked about, when you have severe drought, the concrete or the soil becomes like concrete and it can't absorb the water. So then when you have a high amount of rain in a short time, it just goes over the soil like it's concrete. I mean, we have contaminated water in Mississippi. It was last month that Kentucky got hit hard. The whole Western United States is in the worst drought in over 1,200 years. Pakistan's deadly floods have created a massive kilometer wide inland lake. Satellite images show. This was just in CNN. Look at this. The flooding has caused the lake inside of here. And then I'll show you before and after. This is a farmland in Gadpur, Pakistan. This is a satellite image. Look at this. It's wiped out. So not only these people's homes, but this is farmland. So how are we going to feed people? I'm just telling you, it's already happening. But if you think we can't get worse flooding in America, you're deluding yourself, man. This is from NASA. This is from NASA's MODIS satellite. If you think this can't happen in America, you're wrong. It's already happening. It hasn't happened this severe in America yet, but it will. It's not. Pakistan contributes only 1% of the harmful emissions that create climate collapse. Only 1%. So climate change doesn't care if you believe in it or not. It doesn't care if your country, has some green policies or not. That's why this environmental policy that Joe Biden just passed, he had to fight to get it because of, Republicans and that Joe Manchin get in the way. But again, this climate plan is not, it's a Band-Aid. It's $378 billion over 10 years. $37 billion a year? Really? That's not enough. We spend 800 and some billion dollars a year on war. We need to flip it, guys. The war machine needs to get 50 billion a year, and climate collapse needs $800 billion a year. Because let me tell you something. I don't care how many drones you've got and fighter jets and laser guided this and that. If it's underwater, it won't matter. If farmland is underwater, there's not enough food to feed your citizens. And we can't just build cock rockets like billionaires are doing to fly on out of here, which is what those let's be real. The billionaires are building rockets because they know the planet's doomed and they're like, we want to get out of here. Rather than help it, they're just going to fly out of here because they're parasites. So it's 112 degrees today in Los Angeles. Ron Placone and I were in the Pacific Northwest in July, and it was 95 degrees in Portland, Oregon, and Seattle and Vancouver, and it was dry. Is that what we're going to just live in, this hellscape of like drought, fires, and then just biblical floods? Just one horrific extreme. 1,000 people are dead. Stuff like this has already been happening in the U.S. If you think it won't, you're deluding yourself. So we've had floods a couple years ago. We had really bad floods in Iowa. Remember when we said, I did a story about how only 66% of the crops were allowed to be planted because they were flooded? One of the things I've said on this show since I started doing this show, rather than a pipeline for oil and natural gas, which causes earthquakes and contaminates our water supply, why not a pipeline system for flooding and droughts? So like this year when Kentucky had really bad floods, we could have diverted that water, literally drained it out of Kentucky and sent it to the western part of the United States. Or build, storage facilities. So if Kentucky ever goes through a bad drought, they've got water. Los Angeles, when it rains, all the water just goes out into the ocean, which contaminates the ocean. I'm a surfer. You can't surf for 72 hours after it rains in LA. But in Santa Monica, they built the SMRF, the Santa Monica Urban Runoff Facility that captures rainwater and cleans it and recycles it and puts it back into the water table. We should be spending money on that all across America. And we could even help a country like India out. I'm sorry, Pakistan out. We should be helping them. Oh, but we spent all our money on the global war on terror. Our priorities are messed up, and it will cost us our lives. This is why I do not vote for either of the two corrupt parties. I vote every election, but I will not vote for war. I will not vote for parties that don't care about its own citizens and don't care about climate change. The Republican Party flat out denies it. They have climate deniers within their party. And the Democrats talk about it, but then they do nothing. They do these little incremental things. It's the table crumbs of the democracy, of the incremental centrism. You know, the Republicans do nothing and they deny it. They put their heads in the sand. And then the Democrats go, here's some breadcrumbs we found in a garbage can. No, it's going to take trillions of dollars in a Green New Deal that would give Americans jobs and could reverse climate change. I've done video after video after video on all of the new technologies that are out there that can help combat climate change, but they just need real funding. The reality is, to reverse climate change, we need a top-down solution. That's the reality, guys. We need governments to implement big rules, big laws. The Green New Deal is a government mandate, and we need that mandate so that the human race doesn't go extinct. Or we can just have floods, man. We can have this. You choose. All the money, connect the dots, get the truth. Shave your knuckles for justice.